Hello and welcome to Enterprise Tech Spotlight with your host, Keith Hales, COO at InfoSystems. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello and welcome to Enterprise Tech Spotlight. My name is Keith Hales with InfoSystems. Thank you for joining us today. We're here at InfoSystems. We believe that technology executives should not just pass off important technology decisions, they should get educated and get involved. And it's a really special day today because we're going to be talking about automation. And from Red Hat, we have Christopher Hyman. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Keith.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you for a little bit of background, but before I do that, I want to explain my sweater. I'm going to stand up for a second. It's the week before Christmas. I have on the leg lamp sweater. Our company Christmas party is right after this recording, and so I wanted to wear something fun. Not quite as cool as the Red Hat shirt you have on, Chris, but I did want to share for the people that end up watching this. It's not just a weird looking awkward red sweater. So. Chris,
yeah, you're all set for the party.
That's right. Had to go right away. So, Chris, take just a couple minutes, explain your background and kind of your role there at Red Hat.
Yeah, sure. So I'm a solutions architect at Red Hat. I work with the partner enablement channel, where we're primarily responsible for, among other things, being a technical advisor to strategic partners, helping to map business problems and technology challenges to solutions that I think open source and more specifically Red Hat are able to uniquely solve.
All right, sounds good. So Chris, let's just take a step back. When we talk about automation, I think most folks may know what automation is at a manufacturing level. They may know what automation is at maybe traffic lights or other things. When people start talking about IT automation, maybe they think of robots. Like when you say automation, when you say Red Hat automation, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, sure. So IT automation, it's a bit of a buzzword, right?
Absolutely.
It's undoubtedly hot right now. So in the traditional sense, automation is something that seeks to use technology to perform a task with some sort of a reduction in human assistance. So IT automation is really just one facet of that. You also have your process automation, your business automation. You can make the case for AI, machine learning, etc. But to your question, IT automation really seeks to use system instructions to carry out a repeatable set of processes. And that could be anything IT system related. Maybe it's a network device, an operating system, or really any infinite number of applications.
Okay, great. So we're talking about automation. We're talking about efficiency. We're talking about helping to reduce and remove those repeatable processes. Something we say around here is that if you do it 3 times, if it's a system thing that you do 3 times in a row, maybe you should just automate it instead of manually going in there and doing it yourself. So let's talk about maybe some of the business value of automation. So can you give us some examples of when it makes sense for a company to automate, or maybe some projects you've worked on to help a company automate some of their processes?
Yeah. So I think we're at the point where automation isn't so much of an optional thing anymore. It's something that's required if you're going to keep up with the pace of a modern business. So, any size business can really benefit from the efficiencies of automation because every size business has manual, repeatable processes. Anytime you do more with less, you free up folks to focus on innovation, of other critical aspects. And that's really a win for the business. One of my colleagues likes to say that every shell command, every mouse click, it's a chance to automate. And you get the added benefit of decreasing human error with that too. So if we take a step back and kind of look at the current IT landscape, there's no doubt that the operational complexity of your typical IT infrastructure is dramatically increasing, right? Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of things that contribute to that. The architectural approach to building applications, changed with the advent of microservices. So this means that developers aren't confined to working within a single monolithic structure anymore, where traditionally all of the services kind of coalesce and would scale together. And instead, I think what we have now are these more modular and loosely coupled applications. And although that provides a format for the modern developer to build a better app, where the enhancements are compartmentalized and things scale, it creates a new challenge where you got to figure out how to manage this new design in a cost-effective way. So, one of the ways that businesses are seeing value in automation comes from the increased operational productivity that their infrastructure teams are able to achieve. This comes from optimizing and automating frequently repeated tasks, like we've been talking about, things like configuration, patching, provisioning, and there's a multiplier to that. Have that automation be reusable, have it be shareable. A lot of the automation we see today, whether that be shell scripts or otherwise, doesn't have the synchronization or source control integrations that you need to prevent competing automation and overlapping automation from happening. So when you bring an order to that chaos, efficiencies kind of shine through. And this, of course, comes with the benefit of saving money, which I think any business can find value in.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I 100% agree, right? We see that company technology environments are becoming more and more complicated, whether that is because different applications require it. Maybe they're in kind of a hybrid cloud mode where they have certain services that are living inside their network, certain services that are living online, and then they also have SaaS environments where they've subscribed to a software in the cloud, and so all these systems have to work together. And of course, everyone just expects IT to work seamlessly. And so a lot of that is stuff that is in design, but a lot of that's just in the day-to-day care and feeding of the environment. I mean, technology systems have to be updated, they have to be patched, they have to be managed, they have to be, and then they have to be always transforming themselves. And by automating some of these processes, it's just a more efficient way to manage through all of those requirements. And then quite frankly, it's also a cheaper way to do it too. So your people can focus on those higher value tasks.
You got it.
Yeah. Hey, there we go. It's like I'm in sales or something.
There you go.
So a couple more questions here. So the next one is, Red Hat. Red Hat has Ansible, an Ansible Tower. Do you mind speaking to maybe some of the things that make Red Hat different when we're talking about Ansible when compared to maybe some of the other providers in the marketplace?
Yeah, sure. So Red Hat has a broad portfolio that really caters to the enterprise, and we take that same open source approach that revolutionized the operating system we have in RHEL, and we're able to apply it to the management and automation space with the Ansible automation platform. So we view this platform as the foundation for building and operating an organization's automation services at scale. So it provides the overarching governance, and really it's a model that automation has always sort of been lacking, until now. It's centered around a configuration language called YAML, which is a human readable language. It's used to create playbooks, and Ansible uses these playbooks to perfectly describe your IT application infrastructure in its desired end state. So, whether you're interested in the provisioning of various IT infrastructure, configuration management of an application or operating system, or you just want to make your DevOps program more streamlined, and efficient by leveraging its capabilities and application deployment, it's all there. It automates the technologies you already use, and we call it a Swiss Army knife.
Yeah, so some things I heard there, just want to be sure I heard you right. So one, with the programming language, this is not some new, outside the normal scope programming language. This is actually using the English language basically to write tasks, and then the system can move on from there and perform its functions from there. So this isn't like going and learning, and I'm not a programmer, but .NET or COBOL or Java or all these programmatic languages. This is more of just, hey, just start writing what you want it to do and it will do it for you, which is fantastic. And then you mentioned playbooks, and my understanding is with playbooks, that's really kind of the how-to. It's the manual for each process or each task you're trying to get things to accomplish. But there's already playbooks available, so somebody implementing a Red Hat solution doesn't have to start from scratch. If there's a playbook out there for a common task, Red Hat may have either all the work done, or in many cases, some of the work already done that other users are using, and that's part of that open source community, so that users aren't having to start from scratch every time. I mean, that's a huge value.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It is, and so as you alluded to, the playbook is the framework that executes the code within Ansible. And yeah, it's written in YAML, and it's structured with an inventory, and there's tasks that describe what specific automations need to take place, and there's modules which actually perform the task and are responsible for the heavy lifting. Rather, it's your to-do list, and you can read it. It is human readable. It's easy to write. It's easy to read. The modules typically written in Python, so you don't have to know Python to write a playbook. You just have to know how you want to apply that module to do that heavy lifting and do the automation task at hand.
That's awesome. So how would somebody get started with automation? So somebody's listening to this, or maybe they've been reading up on automation, and we're just this podcast is just something that they sought out. What are those good next steps if they're at zero today? 2-3 things they should kind of start looking at or start doing in order to get moving.
Yeah, perfect question. So, I spend a lot of time with partners and customers talking about our products, and you can see the gears turn in their heads, and they get excited and they want to dive right in and automate everything in their environment, right? While that's definitely the right attitude and is great that they think that way, it needs to be more of a, crawl, walk, run approach. So if you're just getting into automation or you're starting an automation journey within your organization, take it slow. Use Ansible to pull facts to create documentation that you can use for compliance and auditing. Maybe create backups or automate processes. Don't jump right in and change all these configurations that could create production stability issues, right? We want to keep the operations side of the house happy. Remember that automation isn't an all or nothing concept. It's a journey, right? So it takes time, but it is extremely rewarding.
Yeah. And something we were talking about earlier, Chris, I just want to say it again here, is that with the crawl, walk, run approach, an organization doesn't have to look at an implementation of automation as like an ERP change out, right? Or like a brand new refresh or a rip and replace. This can be something they can do in line with other projects. They don't have to dedicate hire people and dedicate a full staff of people, pull people off of, dozens of other projects. It's something that can be done over time. If they want to hit it full force, absolutely they can.
Yep.
But it gives them that opportunity to kind of start small, recognize the wins, and then begin to iteratively implement it. I think we all have our experiences where when we have the option to crawl, walk, run, that's obviously a lot less painful. And so good to know Red Hat automation tools provide that. So Chris, if somebody was interested in learning more and they wanted to self-serve up some information, are there any resources that they should go to and look around to try to learn more about automation about Red Hat?
Oh yeah, absolutely. If you wanted to find out more, visit Ansible.com. There's videos, ebooks, case studies. There's an intro webinar that's absolutely fantastic. There's also links to download the automation platform so you can kick the tires yourself. We have live product demos at redhatdemos.com, which are open to anyone. So you can go there and sign up and check out any of the demos that we have. Maybe they're not, automation specific, but, we do have those out there as well. So you can check out, any of those. And then finally, Red Hat wouldn't be Red Hat without its community. So check for any virtual meetups in the area. If you're into that, pick up the phone, chat with your trusted partner or friendly SA. We'd love to talk through whatever technology challenges you have, whether that be automation related or not.
Well, Chris, I want to thank you for joining us today. This has been great. And I want to thank all the listeners for joining us on the Enterprise Tech Spotlight, where we believe business executives should get educated and get involved. We hope that you are able to join us for our next one. We hope that this specific podcast was helpful. And since we are here at the end of December, hope everybody has a great Christmas, great New Year, and looking forward to a good, fresh start to 2021. Thanks, everybody, and have a great day.